Hey guys, Sherman614 here. I am doing a little bit of different video for you guys today. This is my 101st video upload, and I thought I'd do kind of a knife review redo, I guess you could say. I'm just kind of like a revamped knife review, and I'm going to be doing that with my cold steel Ti-lite. Why my cold steel Ti-lite? Well, that was one of the first knives I ever reviewed here on YouTube, and it still has, I think it has the most views here on YouTube, if not one of the most viewed of my videos. So, you know, I kind of have to owe a little bit of my popularity to the review I did on this knife. So, I just thought it'd be kind of cool to do a revamped version of that video. You know, because I know a little bit more about this knife now and have a little bit more experience with it, and I think the video quality would be a little bit better. And I know I'm doing a little bit of different filming environment here, but I usually don't get a chance to do my videos during the day. I usually have to do them all at night, and it's always been like that, really. So I had a little extra time on a Saturday afternoon, so I thought, you know, why not film on one of my bookshelves, you know, take advantage of some of this natural light. So let's just get straight down to this review. The handle is FRN. It's just fiberglass reinforced nylon, but it's called Zytel. It's the same exact thing, really. It's just a lot of companies will call it Zytel, and then other companies like Spyderco will call it FRN. So Zytel handles, and they're skeletonized handle scales. See, it has the holes drilled out of it, but it decreases the weight and offers a little bit more grip. But you can also see crud will get built up in those little holes from carrying on in your pocket so long. Just take a Q-tip or a toothpick wrapped in some tissue and clean those out every now and then. You don't have to, it's just for aesthetics. 4 Torx bits holding the slabs together. Steel lined. The pocket clip is not reversible or adjustable whatsoever. It is set for tip up right hand only. But you wouldn't want to carry it tip down. I'll get to that in a minute. And very strong pocket clip. Very nice pocket clip. I like it. Wish it had been blacked out, but it's the stainless. It's cold steel stamped on it. Really tight too. I haven't really had to adjust it much in the almost 2 years I've had this knife. The handle length is about 4 inches, so it's about the same as the blade length. I just see it in my hand. It was meant to kind of be like that, so you could use it as an improvised striking weapon. And in the cold steel videos, the DVDs you used to be able to get, I'm sure you still can. It showed guys using them as such, as striking tools. And you could use that little piece of metal right there, come down, and also use that piece right there of the bottom of the handle. It has a full back spacer running all the way across, so it's not an open pillar design. Although you could make it that way if you really wanted to. Just take it out, you know. Don't really see the need to, but alright, let's get straight down to the blade. As I said just a minute ago, it has a 4-inch blade. Look at that. It's a big spear point blade. Love it. One of the things that attracted me to this knife so much. And I forgot the maker of this knife, and that's horrible because I used to be able to remember off the top of my head. But he wanted to make a manual opening version of the classic stiletto switchblades, which I think is a great idea because switchblades are illegal or automatics, whatever you want to call them, but and the first ones were designed like this, in the 1940s and 50s and everything. The mafia and the gangsters would use the switchblades, the stilettos. So they were outlawed, and still are. They just never changed the law. So he made a manual version of them with, modern day materials, which I think is amazing. Of course, you can also get the titanium slab versions, and you get the blue anodized titanium version and brushed gunmetal. And they make them now in aluminum as well, aluminum handle scales. So, but they're a lot more expensive. This knife was $40. You know, the anodized titanium ones are like $100. And they also make them in a 6-inch blade version, which is a bit overkill in my opinion. Anyway, Aus 8 steel for the blade, which is held up really nicely in my personal experience and use with this knife. Made in Taiwan, but I don't care. This knife is amazing. Built very, very well. Don't really care where it was made. Big, beefy, ridged thumb stud there. It's terraced, meaning it has the ridges that taper off, and yeah, it has that false edge on the top to add you know, a little bit to the coolness factor. It also offers a little bit more how do you say, penetrating power. Makes for that penetrating cut. The stab, I guess you could call it, makes it a little bit easier. Another thing that makes this knife stand out is this, that little jumped piece of metal sticking out. I believe Cold Steel calls it the quillion, or quillion, however you pronounce it. Basically, when you're carrying it in your pocket, this is what I was talking about earlier, but you want it tip up. So when you have it in your pocket, like let's say it's down in your pocket, you know, you're going to have this inside your pocket, facing outward. And, like I say, this is inside your pocket. You're going to pull this knife out and bring it towards the lip of your pocket, and it's going to catch on the lip, and that's going to catch on that quillion, and it's going to jettison your blade out. You can see this in my video. I forgot what I even called my own video. The knife deployment demonstrations. Clips on the inside of your pocket and it just flips right out. So it's as fast as an automatic knife when you deploy like that. And you can also just deploy with the thumb stud very easily. Lightning fast. And it's designed like that. It is very close to the handle and you wouldn't think you'd be able to get your thumb in there. It deploys lightning fast. Takes a little practice, but also the way the other end of that little quillion slash finger guard, you can use it as a flipper. Takes a little bit of wrist action. None does work as well as a Kershaw, but you can use it as a flipper. So you have a bunch of different deployment options with this knife, which is nice. And it has always been lightning fast deployment with this knife. So it probably has the phosphor bronze bushings. I'm not sure. I've never taken this knife apart and don't really plan on it anytime soon. It is a liner locking knife, as you can see. And what makes this knife stand apart from every other liner locking knife you've ever had is that, I don't know, Cutlery Lover explained it really well. It's like that one piece right there, that the little 1-inch or half-an-inch piece right there is a little bit longer than the rest of the liner, and then bent over, going towards the inside of the handle. So it gives it that really smooth look and the really smooth feel. Like a lot of times you go to bring your thumb over and disengage a lock, you're like, ow, man, it hurt my thumb. No, this is the most comfortable liner lock I've ever felt. I mean, it just makes disengaging that lock insanely easy and comfortable, which I like that. I wish more knife companies would start doing that because I love that. It's also got a little jumping. Not very functional at all, but you know, it's something. And it just, you know, and you see it moves over and there's that little notched out spot in the Zytel handles. Moves forward and takes its place. I don't know, I just think it's a really, really cool and functional design they have there. So, anyway. Oh god, look at that blade. It's got a lot of a lot of hard use and abuse. So anyway, Lockup is rock solid. This knife has always had rock solid lockup, both up and down and side to side. Honestly, to be honest with you, it's a little tiny bit up and down. Huh, I didn't notice that before. It's a little bit up and down, but like I said, I've had this knife for about 2 years, and it's been under a lot of heavy use. So, can't really blame the knife for that. But it's not enough to make me go, oh, that lock's going to break on me. Because along with it being bent and really comfortable, it also offers more contact with the tang of that blade, which gives it a lot less chance to for that lock to break, bend, or disengage when you don't want it to. Let's talk a little bit about EDC philosophy. Now, yes, I have carried this knife for about 2 years straight. Actually, about one year straight, and used only it for all my EDC use. Used it as a work knife, utility knife, and it's excelled in my personal use. Your guys' opinion may vary. I've had no problem using it as an EDC knife, except when it comes to cutting things like rope, or small rope and pieces of twine, because it has no belly. You end up dragging that piece of twine all the way down the blade just to get that sweep cut going on there. Get the momentum just to make the cut, because it is just a spear point blade. So this knife was great for opening boxes because it is a great penetrating blade design and ripping. You get the penetrate and rip. Yeah, that's what it looks like apparently. So I would recommend different blade designs for an EDC knife. Plus, the blade is huge. I mean, that's a big blade. Like, let's compare it. Compare it to probably one of my all-time favorite EDC knives, Skyline. Skyline having a 3-inch blade. It is thicker, or I mean wider, than the Ti-lites, but it has that belly, so you have less work to do with the blade just to make that cut. Plus, I like the G10 as opposed to the Zytel. Zytel isn't as grippy as G10. This is more, I would say, a tactical knife, and I don't even know if you'd really use it as that. You could, because it has such a long reach and it is such a nice penetrating blade design. So, you know, because I mean, like I said, a 4-inch blade, I've used this in public before and gotten a lot of strange looks. And, you know, I don't usually like to bring unwanted attention upon myself if I need to cut a piece of, you know, string off of my shirt or something. So I would recommend carrying something more along the lines of a Kershaw Skyline for EDC use. But this knife was an EDC, it was my EDC knife, so, you know, I can't say you can't use it as one. I'm just saying I wouldn't really recommend it. I would recommend something different like a Kershaw Skyline. And, you know, like I said, tactical use, it is a big blade and it's meant for penetrating, piercing, to be honest with you guys. And I usually do carry it, you know, I still carry it to this day, not as my main blade, but as a sometimes backup self-defense knife, if need be. Just real quick, let's talk about the factory edge. The factory edge was razor sharp. My brother-in-law called it crazy sharp. It was insane, had an insane edge. I mean, hair popping sharp. It is incredible. And after just a lot of use and a lot of resharpenings, it still has a nice edge. It has a lot of micro serrations in the edge, but it's still pretty dang sharp. So resharpens pretty nicely, and it's held that edge for a long time, to be honest. That Ausate's a great steel. I love it. So, yeah, guys, this has been my kind of review, if you can call it that. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, please comment. Sherman614, peace.